I don't want to be the guy that held the belt for longer, but I fought a guy that was ranked number 7 because number 1 got injured and he was the only guy that's going to take the fight. I want to fight the best of the best, and that is what I've been doing.
Position to the cage when it comes to fight day.
Dricus Du Plessis has turned up the heat on Khamzat Chimaev, openly calling him a loser and insisting he's better in every way. The bold statement has fans buzzing about whether this rivalry could lead to an explosive fight. Before delivering his harsh remarks, Dricus Du Plessis broke down why he doesn't rate Khamzat Chimaev's career as equal to his own. He pointed to their UFC records, noting that while both have strong win streaks, the level of opposition is what matters most to him. Du Plessis believes the difference in quality makes any comparison between their careers completely unrealistic.
I don't want to be the guy that held the belt for longer, but I fought a guy that was ranked number 7 because number 1 got injured and he was the only guy that's going to take the fight. I want to fight the best of the best, and that is what I've been doing. If you go look at me and Khamzat, he's 8 wins in the UFC, I'm 9. Just go compare our resumes. It's not even, it's ridiculous.
Furthermore, when asked about Khamzat Chimaev's skill set, Dricus Du Plessis didn't shy away from pointing out what he sees as key differences. He said Khamzat has never faced him in any position, striking or grappling, and that changes everything. According to Du Plessis, while Khamzat executes techniques well, nothing he does in wrestling or grappling is new to experienced MMA fighters.
Yeah, well, I mean, what can you say? I mean, that's it. He hasn't been there in there with me, and at the end of the day, he hasn't been on the ground with me either. And he hasn't been in the stand-up exchange with me either. The way he does things is the way that it should be done, 100%. From a wrestling grappling perspective, he does not do something that hasn't been seen before. If you look at other fighters.
Du Plessis continued, explaining that while Khamzat's wrestling is elite, it's not unmatched. He believes his style brings something different and harder to prepare for. Using examples from past fights, he emphasized that MMA success is about blending disciplines, rather than relying solely on wrestling or grappling. For Du Plessis, that's the real distinction, separating his approach from Khamzat's inside the octagon.
If you look at other fighters, if you look at other guys that do what he does that good. Now, there's been guys that does it exactly the way he does, but I don't think there's been a lot of guys that does it the way I do it. And when it comes to pure wrestling and pure grappling, of course, Khamzat is amazing, but this is different. We've seen that. I mean, look at the Renita Ritter fight versus Bo Nickel. I always use that as an example. It is not wrestling, and it's not grappling, it's MMA. There's a big difference.
Shifting the focus to betting odds, Dricus Du Plessis addressed being labeled the underdog against Khamzat Chimaev. He dismissed the idea that it affects his mindset, saying odds are for gamblers, not fighters. For Du Plessis, the only priority is winning the fight. Whether favored or not, he believes it changes nothing about his preparation or performance once the cage door closes.
Then they would be a world champion. So I do not care. I am the world champion. So the fact that, I'm the underdog, I don't care. That's a gambler's problem. I'm not gambling on this one. So for me, what it means, the only thing I care about is winning this guy. I don't care if it's Khamzat. I don't care if people think I'm going to win. If people thought, if I was a minus 400 favorite, it wouldn't mean anything to me either. It doesn't change anything to me. Odds don't make fights, fighters do, and the odds have never dictated how I fight. So that's why, saying that I became everything that people thought Khamzat was going to be, that I agree with that.
On the other side, Coach Bernardo gave an update on Khamzat Chimaev's training camp as the fight approaches. He said Khamzat is reaching his peak physical form after weeks of intense work. Bernardo highlighted the team's strong support, especially the recovery efforts guided by Armin, which have helped Khamzat stay healthy and ready. The coach is excited to see how all this preparation will show up on fight night.
We have another 2 weeks of really hard training, and Khamzat is almost like on the peaking of his physical training and his training camp, and it'd been amazing to see all his coaches coming together. And he's been training with Coach Cal, you know, like Armin took him over there, and he's been doing a great experience, just not on the physical training, but at the recovery. And I feel like that helped him a lot, that recovery part and that guidance that Armin put it and gave to Chimaev. So it's really nice that, he's been here already for like 4 or 5 weeks, and it's like he's been fine, nothing happened. You know, his physical is just peaking every day, every week, and it's like more and more and more. So it's like, it's gonna be really nice to see how he's do the transition to the cage when it comes to fight day.
Adding on, John McCarthy shared his thoughts on the talk coming from Dricus Du Plessis and Khamzat Chimaev's camps. He criticized coaches who publicly insult their opponent. McCarthy explained that this kind of talk can make a win seem less important and add pressure if things go wrong, so it's better to respect an opponent's abilities.
Yeah, and I was really surprised. I'm going to say it right now, and it's, you know, I have a lot of friends that are coaches, obviously. I hate when a coach starts talking about an opponent like that. I think it's the dumbest thing they can do. It does not help your fighter in any fashion. You know, you could think he's the worst thing in the world. That's fine. That's between you and your fighter, and you keep it that way. And when you're talking about him, you talk about how great he is. Because all it does when you put the guy down is if your fighter does win, then it's like, yeah, but you said he was no good anyways. You know, so it's like, don't do that. It is just, it's the dumbest thing ever. Oh. Talk about all the strengths and the things that he does good. If you don't want to talk about something that you think he's not good at, don't. But I looked at the fact that his coach is coming out saying things. I think it's crazy. I think it's wrong. But you know, this whole matchup, you know, there's a lot of people talking. You know, you and I obviously, you know, we have our thing, and we've already talked a little bit about it, but.
He then talked about the fight itself. McCarthy said more people are now backing Dricus Du Plessis after seeing his recent performances, praising his strength, cardio, and toughness. Still, he warned that Khamzat Chimaev's skills shouldn't be underestimated. McCarthy pointed out that no one has figured out how to beat Khamzat yet, even though some fighters have had brief moments of success against him.
We've already talked a little bit about it, but I am surprised at how much people are jumping on the DDP bandwagon now after watching everything that they've watched and stuff, and everyone is going with, you know what, he's awkward, he's super tough, he's got great cardio, he's very big, he's super strong. All those things are true. You know, you can't take them away, but don't minimize what skill level Chimaev brings to this fight, because there's no one that has figured out that puzzle yet. There's guys that have done fairly well in moments with him, but not good enough to beat him.
Yes.
Furthermore, Josh Thompson shared his view on coaches talking to the media before fights. He agreed that negative comments only make things harder for the fighter. Coaches get credit when their fighter wins, but also blame when they lose. Thompson believes coaches should avoid making things worse by speaking badly, and instead say positive things, even if they don't fully believe them.
Yeah, this is very true. I mean, it's not even so much the coach saying what he said. I've always kind of been this person, like, as a coach, you get all the credit and all the love when I'm winning. You get all the shit when I lose. Mm-hmm. Okay, along with the fighter. But I don't need you making it more difficult for me by speaking to the media.
That's it.
And so I almost get to the point where I'm like, I feel like coaches should not talk to media at all. And if you do, it should be nothing but positive. Like, just, even if you don't believe it, just say it in a positive way. Whether it's about my opponent, whether it's about me.
Meanwhile, experts have been analyzing what it would take to challenge Khamzat Chimaev's dominance inside the octagon. Many agree he's nearly flawless in his skills and fight style. Stephen Barnhill Jr. broke down how Dricus Du Plessis might be the first fighter with the right mix of strength, grappling, power, and cardio to test Khamzat like no one has before.
This fight is so interesting to me because all of the things that you would want to kind of create that would give you a fighter who could counteract just the dominant style of Khamzat Chimaev, somebody who's really strong, somebody who's also a great grappler, has good submissions, great scrambles, hits like a Mack truck, things like that, has good cardio. Dricus possesses all of the potential Achilles heels for Khamzat,
Right.
but Khamzat has looked so perfect in his career that it's hard to even imagine facing adversity. But I think for sure, and unlike the Gilbert Burns fight, which had some adversity, I think this one is going to be by far his toughest test yet.
Building on that, Nick Barnhill talked about how different Dricus Du Plessis is from the fighters Khamzat Chimaev usually faces. Even though Khamzat has fought many top fighters and champions, none have had a style like Dricus. His unusual and unpredictable way of fighting makes him very hard to prepare for, which could cause real problems for Khamzat and his team before the fight.
Test yet.
Yeah, this is the fight we've been so excited to break down, and even to this final moment, we're at the finish line, and I still am a little bit torn as to who I want to take. But one thing about Dricus Du Plessis is he is for sure the most unorthodox fighter that Khamzat Chimaev has ever faced. Sure, we've seen Khamzat in there with really great fighters. Robert Whitaker was a world champion. If you beat him, you become world champion. We understand that Khamzat Chimaev has fought former world champions, great fighters, basically staples
Top
in the
contenders, you name it.
middleweight top contenders for years and years. But one of the things that they don't have that Dricus does has is his unconventional style, the fact that he's so unorthodox, and truly probably the most difficult guy to recreate in the gym when you're leading up to a fight with him. Now,
Moving on, Luke Thomas shared his thoughts on how the fight between Dricus Du Plessis and Khamzat Chimaev might unfold. He expects both fighters to be cautious early on, focusing first on surviving and defending. Thomas warned that being too defensive could cause a fighter to miss chances to take control. Finding the right balance between defense and offense will be key in this matchup.
No, I definitely think there's going to be some level of keeping your gun holstered a little bit. Not completely. That would equally be suicide. But I just think it's very, very. Listen, if the opportunity presents itself, then yeah, they will jump on it. But my sense is they know that they have to like again. So just think about it. What are the levels of fighting? Survive, defend, attack. Right. So I think they're going to be probably more focused on the first two: survive and defend. And that's the right way to do it. You don't want to be so defensive over the long haul that you end up not having the offense, and you survive, but you didn't change the tenor of the fight ever. You just kind of hung on in a losing way.
Luke reflected on whether Khamzat Chimaev can finish Dricus Du Plessis early in their fight. He compared it to a famous fight between Henderson and Shogun, where an early dominant performance didn't guarantee the outcome. Thomas pointed out that early trouble doesn't always predict the final result.
Maybe nothing. I don't know that there is. You know what I mean? I don't know that there is. This is what I mean. Like, the reason why I go back to the Hendo Hua one, it's a very high bar to meet, and there's a good chance it doesn't meet that bar. Like not many fights will. But the reason I go back to that fight is, I remember early on people didn't know what to make of it, and then more to the point, the fight itself, Hendo ends up dominating big time early. I think over 3 rounds. And then Shogun beats the fuck out of him the last 10. We had him mounted, and it's like raining punishment down on him. And you're like, dude, I just saw this guy almost get stopped like 10 times in the first 15 minutes. Who could have predicted such a thing?
Building on the fight's importance, Luke explained how the UFC's star-making decisions could shape the future champion. He noted that a win for Dricus Du Plessis might boost his profile significantly, especially as he headlines his first major pay-per-view in the US. At the same time, Khamzat Chimaev's growing popularity and ability to fight stateside make him a strong contender for long-term stardom.
I would say that the answer is whoever the UFC can more ably build star power around. And so there's probably 2 competing theories. One might be, hey, DDP, this is the first time he's headlining a pay-per-view in this country. A big win over Chimaev would boost his profile, and that's something that they could go back to. They're not, there might always be some kind of issue with the fact that he's not American, but he could become a big star here, or at least certainly bigger than he is today. The other competing theory to that would be, right, but you would want Khamzat, who can now get into the country because he couldn't before, and he's just got he certainly for a time had the MMA world completely enamored with his future, that he could finally deliver on that and then continue to be a consistent pay-per-view presence. Like, which one creates more star power?
Furthermore, Khamzat Chimaev's coach, Joachim Karlsson, gave insight into their training routine. He explained that their approach is straightforward: train hard, rest well, and follow a strict plan. Karlsson emphasized they aren't focused on how Dricus Du Plessis fights, but instead stick to their game plan. So far, everything is going smoothly with no injuries, and weight management is on track.
Perfect. Training, no problem, go hard. You go home, take a good rest, come back to the second session and really go hard. Had the food by plans, weight is going good, no injuries, no nothing, so I can't complain. We don't think of that so much. Think about what Khamzat can do. So it doesn't matter how DPP he fights, we don't care. We do it our own way.
Continuing, Joachim explained how much Khamzat has improved over the past couple of years. He said the fighter's strength and conditioning are on a whole new level now, making comparisons to his earlier days unfair. Karlsson also shared how they've adjusted training to handle longer fights, moving smoothly from 3-round bouts to preparing Khamzat for 5-round challenges.
Man, you can't compare Khamzat now this time unless like for 1-2 years ago. It's totally different. He have a different strength and condition coach now, so it's a different level now. So I don't think it's fair to compare him to maybe 1-2 years ago. It's not the same. It's easy. We just develop training at more capacity, have higher volume, and just go from there. So it's not a problem. You go for 3 rounds before, now 5 rounds, so it's no difference.
Adding on, Stephen Barnhill Jr. shared a bold prediction about the fight between Dricus Du Plessis and Khamzat Chimaev. He believes the Dricus we see on Fight Night has what it takes to hand Khamzat his first career loss. Barnhill pointed to Dricus's unique mix of power, awkward style, and stamina, qualities he says no other opponent has shown against Khamzat before.
The Dricus Du Plessis is going to systematically break down Khamzat. It's going to start at around minute 7 or 8, so halfway through the second round. He's going to start to find the rhythm, find the timing. He's going to either have defended a couple of takedowns or have been taken down and gotten himself back up to his feet, and then he's going to start to work his offensive with those big body shots, those big kicks, those big punches. And that's going to open up stuff over the top. I like Dricus Du Plessis by 4th or 5th round technical knockout. And still, the man from South Africa is your champion come Sunday morning.
So not only are we going to see Khamzat Chimaev lose for the very first time, but he's going to lose via finish.
Yep.
Wow.
He's going to get knocked out.
That's insane to me. And you know what? Dricus Du Plessis is the champion for good.
Furthermore, Nick Barnhill shared his thoughts on the upcoming fight, admitting he has often underestimated Dricus Du Plessis, but remains confident in Khamzat Chimaev. For UFC 319 in Chicago, Barnhill expects Khamzat to control the fight and adapt well. Though he thinks Dricus will be a tough challenge, Nick predicts Khamzat will secure a 2nd round submission, likely a rear naked choke finish.
Never picked Dricus Du Plessis to win a fight in the UFC. He has proven me wrong every time, made me eat my words, but at the same time, I've never picked against Khamzat Chimaev. And for this fight on August 16th in Chicago, UFC 319, I am not picking against Khamzat Chimaev. I think he's going to go out there. He's going to be in his rhythm. He's going to take charge of the octagon, control it. I don't think he finds the submission in the first round. I think Dricus is going to be a handful for him to deal with, but I think we see him reshoot and find his success on the ground. In round 2, we see a 2nd round submission victory for Khamzat Chimaev. I'll even put a cherry on top. It's going to be a rear naked choke.
Moving on, Paul Felder talked about what fans can expect from Khamzat Chimaev if he reaches his prime as UFC champion. He said, when Khamzat fights, he brings high energy and excitement, making every fight memorable. Felder hopes Khamzat can stay active and compete regularly, at least once a year, so fans get to see more of his skills and intensity inside the cage over time.
Yeah, and I mean, right, you would think that would be the champion prime of when he would fight, hopefully. So we'll see. And again, if he earns it, then hopefully we can all hope for the best for him, that he can be at least once a year regular, because when he does get in there, he's phenomenal and he's crazy and he's got crazy energy and people love him or hate him. It doesn't matter. He brings it, but we just got to see more of him.
Dricus Du Plessis believes he is the better fighter and is ready to prove it against Khamzat Chimaev. Both fighters and their teams are very confident, but experts are still unsure who will win. This fight is very important for both of their careers. Whether Du Plessis surprises everyone with a win or Chimaev shows why he is so strong and skilled, fans can expect a tough and exciting battle inside the octagon. This fight could change the future of their weight division and leave a big mark on the sport of MMA. UFC fans should not miss this fight because it will have a lot of action, skill, and drama. Both fighters have different styles and strengths, making this a very interesting and unpredictable matchup. The result could change how people see both fighters for years to come. Who do you think will come out on top in this epic showdown, Dricus Du Plessis or Khamzat Chimaev? Drop your predictions and reasons in the comments below.